Welcome to session one of the Active Reciprocal Reading coaching program. This is the second time that we have done this program because we're having connectivity problems. You are having some very large storms today, according to Mr. Fundy and Mr. Enoch. So we have a different way forward. And this is how we plan to execute the program. I will record each of the sessions and I will put the PowerPoint slide presentation onto Pixel app, the Pixel International app, and there will also be a link on the app to this recording. So if you miss some of these sessions, don't worry, you'll be able to access it on the Pixel app when you're able to, at your leisure. So here we are, formally beginning the Pixel approach to active reciprocal reading. We know why this is important. So let me begin by just sharing a welcome with you. Habari, it's great to be working with you again. And also to remind you that this is actually step 5 of Pixel Mountain. If you remember the Pixel 8 steps, this step is step 5. We look about dreaming big for all our students. It's about improving the life chances for all our students. And step 5, if you see there, step 5 is taking action. And that means identifying something that needs to be improved in your education system and taking steps to do that. So coaching of ARR is about taking action to address the issues around reading. So today we're going to discuss the aims of the Active Reciprocal Reading Programme. We're going to revise and rehearse, remind ourselves, what are the 5 steps? What are the active reciprocal reading steps? And then, crucially, what I'd like to do is talk to you about how we can work together to begin our active reciprocal reading in your different schools so that you have some way of beginning it. And then at the next meeting, which I'll talk to you about later, I'm hoping that you will bring your ideas and your questions and your feedback and we can share. And if we can't share on Zoom, that's fine. We will do it on text. We'll do it on WhatsApp. We'll find a way to do this. So let's begin today, colleagues. We're aiming to improve our students' reading of English in schools in Tanzania. And we're going to look at ways to do that by working together to trial these steps. Remember, in England, in the UK, I do many conferences working with primary and secondary schools and students on a big research program on exactly this process. What I've done is I've taken the principles and I've tried to apply them to Tanzania, to Morogoro, to help your students. But I'm not the expert in Morogoro, you are. So I need your help to adapt it to make it work for your students. There will be 5 sessions. This is number 1, and we will plan the subsequent sessions further down the track. My idea is to have 1 each month, but session 2 won't start until July the 17th, which I'll tell you about again later, because Cola Hill said they wanted time for the exams. That's fine. So we won't have 1 in June. We'll have the next one in July, the 17th of July. Again, I will record each session and I will post the PowerPoints and a link to YouTube for the video on the Pixel International app. Now then, I'd just like you to explain what I think our role is and what I hope your role will be. So what we can bring to the partnership, and what you can bring to the partnership. So we're working together. We will, and sometimes Madam Betson and sometimes Madam Allison will be here as well, supporting the program. We will explain the program to you, and we will add more detail on the app. We will listen to what you tell us because you are the experts in Morogoro. We want to outline the principles for you to have a go and you feed back to us. So we listen to you and we learn from you. We will offer you advice and guidance, but we will develop and learn and make the program better for Morogoro. Your role is to begin the process, to listen to the first session, and we had the sessions in Morogoro earlier this year, so there is something to build on. We would like you to listen to this one and then maybe make a start. If you haven't started yet, can you choose the best group of students? And we'll explain that shortly. You will need to decide on a text you will use. And then, third point, you will need to plan an ARR session for your students. Now, I will post on WhatsApp a small template to help you plan later this week. So I'll give you some further support. When you've got that, I'd like you to plan a trial, a first go, a trial for ARR in your school, and then have a go. And then for the next session, make some notes, be prepared to feed back so that we can listen to you. This is action research. So you are the professionals. We want you to implement ARR in your schools. And then observe, reflect, think about, are your students doing well? Are there any problems? What issues do you have? Has there been any impact? Do they enjoy the session? Are they learning the steps? So we'd like you to collect evidence of impact. Maybe take brief notes, observe their reading behavior. Maybe you could even video on your phone. Take a quick video. And at subsequent sessions, at the next session 2, share your professional learning and insights so you become the experts. Now, if you are working with a group of colleagues in your school, just pause the video, take 5 minutes to discuss what I've said. You might want to rerun some of the video to clarify it. Are you happy with the aims and objectives? Can we join together and do this? Because this might take 5 or 6 months. Have you any questions at this stage? And then for the 17th of July, which is session 2, again at 3:30 East Africa time, at Wednesday, the 3:30 p.m., Wednesday, the 17th of July, choose one person. We'll try and do another Zoom and have a conversation. We'll try it. If not, we'll do it on WhatsApp. Now, let's just remind ourselves of the active reciprocal reading cycle. So you've got a group of students and you've got a text and you've done some planning. When you implement it, it goes like this. We activate pupils' prior knowledge. Maybe some questions. Which topic are we working on? Okay, we're working on this topic. You remember from last lesson. Right. What's a prediction? Look at the text. What does the title of the text say? Right. Make a prediction. Ask the students. Look at the text. Make a prediction. This makes them actively engaged. They have to think ahead. So once they've made a prediction, you can read the text, a short amount of text, maybe 2 paragraphs, no more. You could read through echo reading. You read a sentence, they repeat the sentence. or you could simply read it to them. Vary that, have a go at that, see what works with your students. When you've read the text, clarify. Which are the words and phrases that you will need to explain? Get them to work together. Which words don't they know? Oh, miss, sir, I don't know what this means. So you clarify the 2 paragraphs. Then deepen. Ask some questions, some simple questions and some harder questions. And if possible, get pupils to work in pairs to discuss the answer before they respond. So you have a discussion and then you summarize. We've been reading text about this topic. We found these new words and phrases. We answered these questions, and now we're ready to move on. Now, the other grey box on the screen now says review and reflect. Every now and again, ask the students to think about how well are they doing? Do they predict well? Are they finding it easy? Are they a little bit shy about admitting words they don't know? Will they take part in the echo reading? Do they work well together as a pair? And can they summarize it? Do they find that easy? That's sometimes quite a difficult skill. So by review and reflect, you're helping the students become more aware of their own reading skills. It's a meta-awareness. They become aware of themselves as readers. And that is crucial because it's best when they are able to become independent readers. And ARR and the steps, the 5 steps of ARR, help them to become independent when they become aware of what they're doing and better at it, so they can improve themselves. Now, on the right-hand side of the screen here, just a little summary of what we've been talking about so far, if you're going to begin to do this yourselves. So you'll need to choose some students and a focus for the text. You'll need to talk to pupils and students about maybe working in pairs so they can be developing their talk, developing their discussion. If you can do ARR, little and often, ideally twice a week for 15 minutes, but if you can't manage that, once a week for 10 minutes is good. And make a note of responses so that you're having a go. You're trialing it yourselves with your students. So if we're going to start ARR in your schools, you'll need to choose your students. Maybe you will find some enthusiastic teachers who are very keen, very positive, or departments who are very keen or very positive. And they will work with you to look for an appropriate text and to plan these sessions. Remember, 15 to 20 minutes is ideal, but if you can't do that, try 5 minutes, try 10 minutes, just gradually building up for the students. If you can start with a small group of students, that is excellent, but you have very large classes, you may not have the time. So you may begin with a whole class of 50, 60 students. Give it a go. See if it works. Feedback to us. You will need to decide on a text you will use, and if possible, plan 3 or 4 sessions. Now, if you want to start with a whole class, please do so. You will be the expert because we tend to work with small groups in the UK. So if you trial it with a wider class group, a bigger group, you become the expert, and we will work with you to develop those ideas. Now, also to start ARR in your schools, you will need to implement the ARR cycle and collect evidence of impact. In other words, after the session, talk to the students. Did you understand what we're doing? Does ARR make it easier? Can you remember the 5 steps? And if it's working, maybe ask other teachers to come and observe you. See, this is how we're doing it. This is working, so they can trial it in their classrooms with their students. Now, I've mentioned working in pairs before. This is really, really important if you're working with a large class, a big class, because if you're the teacher and you have 50 students, it is very difficult for some students to talk in that situation. So having a partner helps them rehearse ideas to say quietly before they say out loud. So paired talk is fundamental, very, very important to the process. You might have to demonstrate this. Bring 2 confident students out to the front and get them to show other students how to do that. This will encourage all the students to participate, to have a go, to join in. And when you see students doing it well, praise them, reward them, give them confidence. And the last bullet point 4, if you're in a large group, a large class, you might have to practice control techniques. So, or quiet, or ring a bell, so that the students know to stop talking and listen to you. I'm sure you do that very well. I'm sure you understand what I mean by that. Practice control techniques. Now then, little and often. Ideally, as I said earlier, regular practice of ARR gives students confidence in reading. And when we work with schools in the UK, we ask them for 15 minutes twice a week. But if you can't do that, don't worry. Do whatever time you can, and we will see what difference that makes. When you're working with students, use the terms predict, read, clarify, question, summarize, so they become familiar with what those words mean and how to use those skills themselves. And when you see students doing it, praise them. Reinforce their behavior. Praise. Okay. If you're working with colleagues in one school, if you're not on your own, take 10 minutes and just talk through what I've said so far about starting ARR. Which students will you choose? How often will you do it? Which text will you focus on? How often can you do it? Just come up with a plan. And then if there's anything else you'd like to ask before you begin ARR, just send me a text. Ask me a text, send me a question anytime, and I will reply. Now, the next session for ARR, session 2, will be on Wednesday, the 17th of July at 3:30 p.m. East Africa time. At that session, I'm hoping you've all had a chance to get over the exams and to have a go at least a few, 2 or 3 sessions of ARR. This week, I will post this PowerPoint presentation and the link to the video on the Pixel app. And I will also send you a planning document, a quick planning sheet to help you plan the sessions. If you have any questions that you want to ask myself or Madam Alison, Madam Betson, please text us anytime and then we'll get back to you. And it would be very helpful if you could have started ARR before the 17th of July. However, if you can't, that's fine. We'd still like you to be part of the program. Come to the session with your plans to discuss. And then finally, if we can't get Zoom going on the 17th of July, don't worry. I will plan and prepare, and I'll rehearse and make sure it's recorded and uploaded to the Pixel app so that you don't miss out. We have got the Pixel app and we've got WhatsApp to communicate, and we'll keep trying with Zoom. So there's 3 ways in which we'll try and keep the program going. Good luck with your program, with your project. If you want any questions on choosing texts or how many students or how often you'd like to do it, just text me. I'm more than happy to respond. And I look forward to seeing you all on the 17th of July. Bye-bye for now.